Virgin Islanders let their voices be heard at the polls on Tuesday, deciding to give Governor Albert Bryan Jr. another 4 years in office. They chose to give Bryan and Lieutenant Governor Tregenza Roach a second term to lead the territory. It was a hard-fought election cycle for the two main vote getters on this election day, with challenger Kurt Ville getting many votes, especially on St. Croix, but it was not enough as the current governor will remain in office. Let's take a look at the official election results from the VI election system. As of Tuesday evening, Albert Bryan Jr. got 11,544 votes, or 56% of the vote. Kurt Ville received 7,926, 38%. This election saw a voter turnout of 54%, with more than 21,000 people casting their votes. Before we get to the rest of your election results today, let's bring in AJ Mastrangelo for a check of the first check of the forecast, because AJ, you're tracking a storm that could bring a lot of damage to the Bahamas right now.
Yeah, the Bahamas right now certainly getting lashed by Nicole right now. It is a tropical storm, but could become a hurricane. Obviously, either hurricane or tropical storm, still very deadly. We have new video coming in from the Bahamas. We have seen quite a bit of storm surge there, and you can see here for your Wednesday afternoon and evening, it is expected to make a landfall here in Florida, north of the Miami area. Could be seeing storm surge there 3 to 5 feet for some locations. Certainly the storm surge and the rain, as well as that tornado threat, is a main concern here as we head into the next 24 to 48 hours. But once we head towards Friday, we could be seeing a second landfall in Florida, but then everything is out of our hair. Current advisory 70-mile-per-hour winds moving west-southwest at 11 miles per hour. That pressure continues to drop down. We have those hurricane warnings in effect for the Bahamas, as well as the eastern coast of Florida, and then tropical storm warnings further north and further south. So the wind field, though, here of this hurricane has been certainly very intense. Here you can see potentially strengthening into a Category 1 storm here with a Wednesday night landfall there around 1 a.m. As we head into the morning of your Thursday there. Let's take a look now at the wind field. That is the main thing about this storm here. 250 miles. That's a distance from Detroit all the way to Boston, Massachusetts. So a very large swath of tropical storm force winds. Luckily, we'll be seeing this storm move relatively quickly, so all of that damage will be assessed relatively quickly.
Thanks, AJ. Our thoughts and prayers go out to the people in the Bahamas and in the mainland state of Florida, too, as they prepare for a hit. And Bahamas now dealing with a hit from a hurricane late in the season now. And a little more than a month after Hurricane Ian devastated southwest Florida, people across the state are anxiously preparing for Tropical Storm Nicole, which, as AJ just mentioned, is currently churning toward the Bahamas, hitting the Bahamas. It's expected to make landfall somewhere in Florida as a Category 1 hurricane, as he just mentioned, late Wednesday or early Thursday. Jason Allen has the latest from Cocoa Beach, Florida.
It's just awful. I feel sorry for everybody.
From coast to coast, storm-weary Florida residents are securing their belongings and preparing for a storm surge ahead of Nicole's arrival.
We've got sandbags for the last hurricane. We need more for this one. We're literally on the ocean, and we worry about water coming into our apartment.
Southwest Florida residents are still recovering from the wrath of Hurricane Ian.
Because of all the stuff lying around next to everybody's homes, there's just potential for danger with loose flying metal.
In Seminole County, residents are anxious about flooding. There is still standing water after Ian dumped 20 inches of rain on the area.
I see too much water out here, so any more water is just going to overflood.
Evacuation orders are in effect for several communities. Schools are closed today in Broward and Miami-Dade counties, and Orlando's airport is closing this afternoon. Exactly where Nicole will come ashore here in Florida is still uncertain. Officials are urging everyone to take the storm seriously.
Don't look at this as a tropical storm. Look at it as another potential threat to Southwest Florida.
And at Kennedy Space Center, the Space Launch System rocket and Orion spacecraft for the Artemis 1 mission is locked down at the launch pad. NASA has pushed back liftoff from this coming Monday to Wednesday, weather permitting.
And President Biden has already declared an emergency for Florida, clearing the way for FEMA and the Department of Homeland Security to coordinate relief efforts. The Atlantic hurricane season runs from June 1st through November 30th. Now let's get a check of the other key races that were on the ballot this Tuesday in the USVI. And it was a very close race for one open seat for legislature of the Virgin Islands at large. Angel Bolquez wins this race with 8,270 votes. Very close one, though. Write-in totals were 38%. And here are the results for the legislature of the Virgin Islands in St. Croix. There were 7 open seats, and on your screen are the candidates who secured a seat. Again, these the latest official numbers from the Virgin Islands Department of Elections as of Tuesday evening. Kenneth Giddens, Novell Francis Jr., Franklin Johnson, Sam Carrion, Maurice James, Javon James, Diane Capehart, all earning a seat in St. Croix. And for the legislature of the Virgin Islands in the St. Thomas St. John district, 7 seats available here too. Donna Frett Gregory handily won re-election. Behind her, the other 6 seats, Milton Potter, Marvin Blyden, Dwayne DeGraff, Carla Joseph, Alma Francis Haliger, and Ray Fonseca. Congratulations to all of those who secured a seat in the VI legislature. Social Security stipend checks have now started going out to local retirees. The Office of Management and Budget started distributing the Social Security supplemental checks this week. Government House is distributing the checks as part of President Biden's American Rescue Plan Act from the COVID-19 pandemic. These funds are being made available from the American Rescue Plan Act State and Local Fiscal Recovery Fund, which allows for helping households respond to the negative economic impacts of the pandemic. The payments come after a months-long process during which the Government House worked to resolve issues with addresses provided by the Social Security Administration for Social Security recipients in the territory. The $500 payment will be issued to those Social Security recipients who are seniors or who are on disability. Richard Moda explains more on how to go about getting your check.
Distribution of the checks on both islands will begin at 9 a.m. and end at 5 p.m. on both days. So I will repeat that: on Wednesday, November 9th, and Thursday, November 10th. Those stipends will be distributed on the islands of St. Croix and St. Thomas between 9 a.m. and 5 p.m. This payment is to help seniors and disabled persons living on fixed incomes address the hardships imposed by the global COVID-19 pandemic and resulting economic inflation. Distribution on St. Thomas will be conducted in the parking lot of the Roy Lester Schneider Hospital, so their front parking lot over there, and on St. Croix in the parking lot of the VIA building in Estate Diamond. And so those 2 locations, as I mentioned earlier, on Wednesday, November 9th, and Thursday, November 10th, from 9 a.m. to 5 p.m., you can go and get those stipend cost of living payments. Recipients are required to present a valid picture ID to receive the stipend. If you cannot make it on either of these days, distribution will continue next week.
And St. John checks were made available for pickup at the administrator's office back on Monday. For those who are not able to physically pick up your check in person, you or someone on your behalf should contact the Office of Management and Budget via email at arpa@omb.vi.gov or call the number on your screen, 340-774-0750. Again, distribution will also happen next week as well as this Wednesday and Thursday. Now to continuing coverage of the massive record-breaking Powerball jackpot, which hit in California, unfortunately not in the Virgin Islands. After an hours-long delay, lottery officials determined there was a single winner for the historic jackpot of $2.04 billion. The winning ticket sold just outside of Los Angeles. Dana Griffin has more now on the massive winnings.
After 40 straight winless drawings, someone is taking home the largest lottery prize in history.
This is Powerball.
One person is holding the only ticket matching all 6 winning Powerball numbers. The jackpot reaching $2.04 billion. A lump sum payout will be more than $997 million before taxes.
Joe Service Tender had the privilege of selling the only Powerball jackpot winning ticket.
That ticket sold just outside of Los Angeles at this gas station in Altadena, California. The jackpot so massive, lottery officials had to tape the letter B on the winning billionaire banner.
We've never had to do this.
The historic win came after a technical issue in Minnesota caused the drawing to experience a 10-hour delay. Now, the lucky player is California Lottery's first ever billionaire. The big question, who won?
It is the billion-dollar question, the $2 billion question. We don't know who won.
While no one has claimed the big prize yet, the winner won't stay a mystery forever. California law requires their name to eventually be made public. Still, the advice from lottery experts: lay low before claiming the record-breaking payout.
They need to take their time. They need to slow down. And as I always tell people, wait for the roller coaster to come to a stop before you try to get off.
But the newest billionaire won't be the only one cashing in. More than 11 million tickets won something, with cash prizes totaling $98 million, including 3 more million-dollar winners in the Golden State. The jackpot-selling store's owner, Joseph Shahayed, will also enjoy a $1 million bonus as we all wait for someone to claim that historic grand prize.
What do you want to tell that person who is probably sitting at home trying to wrap his
I
or
love
her
you
head?
before and I love you now and I'm going to love you forever.
Forever. I'm sure they're talking with a financial advisor right now.